The Jathther had ruled the Dominion for 3,000 cycles. Their empire stretched across 17 star systems, each one conquered with methodical precision. They were masters of psychological warfare, beings who could project fear directly into the neural pathways of any sentient creature. No species had ever crossed into Dominion space without immediately surrendering or fleeing in terror. Until the humans arrived. Commander Varesh stood on the bridge of the Eternal Triumph, his segmented body rigid with anticipation. The sensors had detected the human vessel an hour ago, a crude, boxy ship that limped through space like a wounded animal. It had crossed the border without hesitation, without even attempting to communicate. "Deploy the fear protocol," Varesh commanded, his voice resonating through the ship's neural network. The weapons officer, a younger Jathther named Kelth, activated the arrays. Invisible waves of terror cascaded toward the human ship, designed to trigger the most primal fears buried in any organic brain. Varesh had seen this weapon break entire armadas. Captains would weep. Crews would mutiny. Ships would turn and run, their occupants scarred for life. The human ship continued forward at the same steady pace. "Increase intensity to maximum," Varesh ordered, a tremor of uncertainty creeping into his consciousness. Kelth manipulated the controls, and the fear protocol surged to levels that had once caused an entire species to commit mass suicide rather than face what they'd experienced. The human ship didn't even alter its trajectory. "Commander," Kelth's voice wavered, "they're hailing us." On screen. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a human female sitting in what appeared to be a captain's chair. She was drinking something from a container and looked vaguely annoyed. Behind her, other humans moved about their duties with casual efficiency. None of them appeared terrified. None of them appeared affected at all. "This is Captain Maria Santos of the Earth vessel Perseverance," the woman said, setting down her drink. "We're passing through. Just thought we'd let you know." Varesh felt something he'd never experienced before, confusion bordering on fear. "You have entered Dominion space. You will surrender immediately or..." "Or what?" Santos interrupted, raising an eyebrow. "You'll hit us with more of that headache machine?" "Headache machine?" Varesh repeated, his translator struggling with the colloquialism. "Yeah, that fear thing you've been blasting at us for the past 20 minutes. Santos leaned forward. "Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but humans? We're kind of experts at being afraid." She gestured to someone off-screen, and the view split. Images appeared beside her face: cities in ruins, mushroom clouds, flooded coastlines, burning forests, skeletal figures behind barbed wire, soldiers charging into gunfire, crowds fleeing from monsters that existed only in human imagination. "We've been scaring ourselves for our entire history," Santos continued. "We've got horror movies, roller coasters, haunted houses. We literally pay money to be terrified for entertainment. We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and ourselves. Your fear weapon?" She shrugged. "It's like a mild anxiety attack. We've all had worse on a Tuesday morning." Varesh's neural tendrils twitched involuntarily. This was impossible. The fear protocol had been perfected over millennia. It tapped into universal survival instincts, into the fundamental terror of death and annihilation that all living things shared. "You're lying," he said. "No species can simply ignore the fear protocol." "We're not ignoring it," Santos corrected. "We're just used to it. Hell, half my crew thought it was a malfunction with the coffee maker making them jittery." She picked up her drink again. "Look, we don't want trouble. We're just trying to get to the Kepler sector. It's important. Medical supplies for a colony that got hit with a plague." "Irrelevant," Varesh snapped, though his confidence was crumbling. "Turn back or be destroyed." Santos sighed. "You really don't want to do this." "You have one of our scout ships," Varesh continued. "You are outnumbered 50-1. You have no allies in this sector. Surrender now, and you will be treated as prisoners according to Dominion law." The human captain was quiet for a moment, studying him with those unsettling binocular eyes. Then she smiled, and Varesh felt a chill that his own fear protocol had never managed to produce in him. 50 to 1, she repeated softly. You know what humans call those odds? What? A fair fight. Santos stood up. Let me tell you something about my species, Commander. We didn't claw our way to the top of our food chain by being the strongest or the fastest. We did it by being too stubborn to quit and too crazy to know when we're beaten. We're the species that looked at the stars and said, yeah, we can get there. We're the species that gets knocked down and gets back up. Every single time. She moved closer to the screen. You want to know our secret? We're not brave because we don't feel fear. We're brave because we feel it and we do it anyway. That's what makes us dangerous. Not our weapons, not our ships, our refusal to flinch. Varesh found himself backing away from the screen without consciously deciding to do so. Around him, his crew had stopped working, all watching the human with something approaching awe. So here's what's going to happen, Santos said. We're going to continue through your space. We're going to deliver these medical supplies. And then we're going to leave. You can try to stop us if you want, but I promise you fighting humans is not like fighting anyone else you've conquered. We don't surrender. We don't run. And we sure as hell don't flinch. The transmission ended. Varesh stood motionless on his bridge, processing what had just occurred. In 3,000 cycles, no one had ever simply dismissed them. Commander? Kelth asked quietly. Your orders? Varesh watched the human ship on the sensors as it maintained its steady course through Dominion space. He thought about his armada, about the costs of engaging a species that treated fear like an old acquaintance. He thought about the look in that human's eyes, not fearless, but somehow worse. Accepting. Determined. Let them pass, he said finally. Sir? Let them pass, Varesh repeated. And mark this in the records. Mark it well. The humans have crossed into the Dominion. And they didn't flinch. The Perseverance continued on its journey, its hull scarred but intact, its crew humming old songs about long roads and longer odds. Behind them, the greatest empire in 17 systems watched and learned a lesson 3,000 cycles in the making. Some species conquered through strength. Some through cunning. And some, the truly dangerous ones, conquered simply by refusing to stop moving forward.